I became interested in the Maya when I was living in Honduras in the early 1990s. At that time, I was serving as the regional reporter for Time magazine, and I had the good fortune that during that same period of time, the archaeological team in Copan literally kept unearthing these astonishing discoveries. So on a couple of occasions, I was sent out there to cover these discoveries. I got to know the team of archaeologists, and I became quite intrigued by the Maya as a result of the kinds of things I was learning. Behind the novel essentially came from my experiences there, climbing up temples, penetrating tunnels, looking down into the maw of these royal tombs. It was just too magical and mystical for me as a writer not to want to do something with all of this incredible material. Therefore, I had the idea to turn a lot of my research into a novel. Back when I did the research, I started kind of scribbling out an outline at that point. It took me a long time, needless to say, to execute, but I've been working on it really since the early 90s. Lucy's a very complicated character, and she finds herself in a lot of trouble in ways she never saw coming. She grew up in a missionary family, and she grew up in the jungle with a wild brother who made her really wild too. So she understands what ends up to be, in her particular case, a somewhat positive model of mission. I like her, actually. She's a little nuts, but she grew up in the jungle. She's undetoured. It doesn't matter if she has help, if she has an escort, if she has anything. She'll do what she has to do to get the job done. People have also asked me about the lead archaeologist. James and Lucy have a very complicated relationship, as most human beings do. James represents the other side of the conversation I'm exploring. He dusts stone with a gentle brush and pulls artifacts out of the earth. So he's very concrete in terms of his belief system. Confused about what Lucy represents. They have a relationship that is filled with a lot of painful twists and turns, and they both suffer a lot. In terms of an inspiration for that character, I obviously had to appropriate a lot of the information I got from all of the archaeologists that I interviewed. So I kept my notebooks, and I kept track of what the various archaeologists said about discoveries in the history of the Maya and the land of the Maya. But in terms of the character himself, I kind of look upon it the way Jane Austen looked upon her creation of Mr. Darcy. The only way you could ever meet someone like James Fee is to make him up. And that's what I've done, and that is the beauty of fiction.
shower.